Hey, everybody, welcome to the Movie Game Show podcast, where, of course, we talk about movies, games, and, well, shows. And in today's episodes, of course, we have Jay joining us as well as Gator. How are you guys doing?
Hi-oh, doing well. How are you, Mike?
Good.
Doing great, man. Doing great. So I know that we just Comic Con just was this last week. So I feel that there's a few things that we can discuss. There really wasn't a lot Star Wars related, but one thing I definitely am excited about. One of my favorite shows as a kid that I watched was the X-Men animated series. It honestly, I'm super excited to see it. It sounds like it's going to be coming now. They're going to be doing a continuation of the X-Men animated series. They're calling it X-Men 97, and that's going to be released on Disney Plus fall of 2023. I know
I like
Jay.
it, man.
Yeah, are you a big fan? Were you a big X-Men fan? I know me and Jay are huge X-Men fans.
Yeah, definitely. I love the movies. I thought they were awesome. And anytime you can do an animated series, you're going to be able to continue that forever. As long as the writers are there, as long as the animators are there, you're going to be able to continue that storyline until you get sick of it, essentially. So,
100%.
yeah, I saw the trailer for this one, and yeah, I think it's going to be great, man. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and they put a lot of financial backing into it. So I think it's going to be good.
It's going to be animated like it was back in the day too, or is it like a new style, or what are they doing?
I think it's going to be animated. It's probably going to be in the same style. It's just going to have a facelift, probably in the sense of like,
Technology,
modern. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it probably will look closer to probably like how like the Clone Wars animated series looks, I would
which
assume.
is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be well, I'm super excited. But yeah, no, it says so like the news from Comic-Con, so the new series will include Rogue, Beast, Gambit, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Storm, Jubilee, Cyclops, and of course Magneto. Now, here's the big difference. Now he's with long hair and a purple suit. So there's these like comics that, have come out after the fact or after the timeline where I think there's like this story arc where like Magneto like kind of comes back to like the good side. So just not that he was like super bad, but like he comes back to like the good side and he like kind of takes over Professor X's role as being like the leader of the X-Men. I don't know. I that's just kind of what I hear. I don't know, Jay, have you read up on any of that type of stuff?
No, it's all news to me. That sounds pretty cool. I wonder. I'm gonna have to refresh my memory because it's been 20 something years since I saw the very last episode, and I was
only, that's it.
quite younger. So I
Did you
mean,
say is Xavier in it, or is he out?
Um they don't have Professor X listed. So I think the way it ended was like he was maybe like on his deathbed or something. So which might imply that he's not going to be around. So that might be the one change. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, like I said, it almost sounds like Magneto's going to like come back and like be like the new Professor X for the group.
The
But
headmaster.
you got it. Yeah, which is interesting.
yeah, he's gonna do some. I mean, let's just be clear. Magneto has done some very, very bad things, but he's an all right guy. Like he means well.
Yeah, he has a different methodology for what he wants to
Oh, you
accomplish.
commit one genocide, and all of a sudden you're a bad guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Did he do
Yeah.
any genocides in the
I don't know.
show?
Well, I mean, I think his main emphasis was basically to kill everyone who wasn't a mutant, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's kind of like genocide, right?
A little bit. I, I would, yeah, I would label that genocide.
Well, if he actually did it. but I don't know, I don't remember the details specifically, but yeah, I mean, even if he's like kind of like a tamed down, like more like light side Jedi version of Magneto, I feel him taking a completely different approach as far as the group is concerned. I mean, I bet he'd be just a lot more, even if he's like not like I'm just gonna like kill everyone who's not a mutant. I just feel like the missions they would do and everything, all that stuff, like he would just be a lot more like blunt. Like he wouldn't be like he wouldn't be interested in the diplomacy aspect like Professor X was, for example. Like he would just like go and infiltrate places and destroy
Right.
things.
Yeah, go in, finish the job, and leave. They don't care about the ramifications or the potential fallout from killing civilians or non uh, mutants or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think he's going to be more of a just get it done type of leader.
So what I can gather from this is we're all sort of in a combined agreement of Magneto is misunderstood.
Yeah.
He's just misunderstood, guys. He's just trying to protect his family because that's what Magneto does, even if it requires killing thousands, if not millions, of humans in the process. But maybe he's turned a new leaf,
Right. Yeah.
Maybe he bought The Secret and he read it and he's like, maybe everything I've been doing is up to this point has just been not good.
Yeah. Yeah. He bought The Secret.
He bought The Secret, and after Professor X dies, he goes to the Barnes and Nobles and he buys The Secret and he reads
Yeah.
it, and then he has an epiphany. And his
Yeah.
epiphany is, I've been doing this the wrong way the whole time.
Dude, I think we should be writers. This sounds like a great plot line.
Yeah, this sounds really good. Who do we call for this? We call Kathleen Kennedy, or is she just Star Wars? Kevin Feige, maybe?
You know what? Get me Stan Lee's number real quick.
He died.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
He died, Gator.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry, that's not funny. All right, so
No, it's
Rest
not
in peace. Rest in peace to the great Stan Lee. Everything you do and done, or done rather. 'cause
Anything
it's
he
past
touched was gold.
Yeah.
well, absolutely. So
Yep.
before we move on to something else, you guys tell me. I'll go last. What character are you the most excited to see come back? You can't say Magneto in the new animated series. What character are you most excited to see come back?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I want to see the Rogue that I know with the Captain Marvel powers.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Now I have to say something else.
Roger, I mean, obviously
She's amazing.
she's amazing, but the one guy we'd pick, like Mike and I'd pick, is obviously like the front runner, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say Rogue. And Jean Grey is kind of a cop out because it's like, Jean Grey, but I'm gonna say Rogue.
I mean the basic bitch answer is Wolverine because he's the coolest, I think. But
cool.
I'm gonna say Beast. And
Beast?
I've always been partial
Hank?
to Gambit too. I don't know. I've always
That's-
thought Gambit is a badass character.
That's who my second pick is.
That's
Gambit.
yeah. That was my second, and that's why I held off on it because I knew Mike would pick Gambit.
It's got a little
Yeah.
twisted fate. I don't know if you guys played League of Legends. He's got the cards.
Is he modeled after Gambit?
I would say
He
so.
throws cars, probably. Yeah, I don't know who.
Yeah,
else
that's a
throws
total
cars.
ripoff of
It's a
Gambit.
It's 100% ripoff for sure.
Riot Games, you guys are going to be in for a lawsuit if the guys from Disney ever find out.
Someone called Stan Lee. Wait, what?
Yeah. There's actually, before we move on, there's actually a lot of news coming out of Comic-Con. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I wish I that's on my bucket list before I die is to make it out to San Diego Comic Con. That's like the mecca, right, of the conventions, right? That's like
It's the King of
the
Kings.
gold
It's-
standard, right?
Yeah, it's it's basically
Yeah.
King's
For
Landing with all
general,
the
for yeah, all things. I mean, I'd love to go to the Star Wars one, but that's
yeah.
you know, but yeah, outside of that, Comic Con, and then probably the other, I'd say the other one that would be on my bucket list, I guess when it comes back, would be E3. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been a long time thing. You and I have talked about, Mike.
I always love seeing the cosplays. Like people are so creative
for sure.
with their costumes that they come up with. It's insane.
Especially the women. I like their costumes the most.
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah?
the guys really shouldn't even be allowed to cosplay, right? They should just have okay.
No,
so
they
the
can
girls-
cosplay. They can cosplay. They can cosplay as like I saw a really good one of Kratos the other day. This bodybuilder in like England dressed up as Kratos, and that was sick.
Yeah.
All
But
his
there's-
abs are popping out. I'm sure you
Dude,
like that.
he is just roided up, like like not natty at all, like just a monster of a human being. But yeah, for Comic Con, they announced Marvel Phase 5 and 6. They got the multiverse saga. They're doing another Daredevil. Oh
Yeah, that'll be
man,
good.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they Secret Invasion. Nick Fury. Some of the comic book fans will be kind of excited about Secret Invasion. Maybe
Multiverse Saga, is that that's Marvel's next kind of
5 and 6.
storyline that they're going through with their movies?
Yeah, Phase 5 and 6.
And then they I did see the thing for the Black Panther sequel, I guess, right?
Wakanda forever.
I don't know if you can do that again after the main guy died, you know?
I think he did some filming before he passed.
Oh, did he? I mean, and he was fantastic in the first one.
He's very good.
Yeah. Yes, he
But-
is.
But
She-Hulk? She-Hulk?
yeah, there's that. Yeah, she's
She-Hulk. Oh, let me go on a tangent about She-Hulk.
Please do. I'm just reading the headlines and I saw this pop up. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
When Marvel Heroes was still, we could still play it, and it was out, forever ago. She-Hulk was my favorite character to be. Because she does a lot of damage, and she's really tanky, too.
Well,
But that's all
apparently,
I want to say.
Okay.
apparently it's like they have a She-Hulk show. I haven't gotten really into it, but I saw a trailer last week, and it's basically like she's like a lawyer, so it seems like it's like an Ally McBeal type thing mixed in with Marvel.
Well, I mean, that's what the
Wait,
comic was.
I
She
thought
was
this was
lawyer.
a joke. She-Hulk,
No.
attorney at law. That's
Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
lawyer, yeah. She's a lawyer.
Okay.
Ally McBeal, little
I mean,
Robert
I'll
Downey Jr. tie-in there.
Ally
Multiverse
McBeal.
tie-in.
I'm so glad I remembered that because I was thinking about that the other day when I saw it. I was like, what was that show called?
What was the other one? Like the oh god, the show about the high school in Boston or whatever.
Mhm.
It was right after Ally McBeal on Fox. I don't know. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but
No, that's fine, but I'm trying to remember what show it was.
I'm trying to remember too.
it was like Boston Public or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
What was it about?
Yeah, Boston Public. I don't know. I just remember it was like in the same slot as Ally McBeal, or right before or right after on Fox.
You know what Ally McBeal is I mean, it's known to be a great show, obviously. There's fans everywhere, but it's also known for a little someone making his comeback in the Hollywood scene.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Way to go,
Oh.
buddy.
That was
Yep.
after his little
There's a little mishap. Let's leave it at that.
His
Let's
coke
just leave it
binge.
at that.
Yeah.
He had a rough time for a few years there, but came back. He got Ally McBeal, and then he got freaking that huge Marvel deal. So
Yeah, he's the king now. And don't forget Tropic Thunder. Please don't forget Tropic Thunder.
how could I forget that absolute classic of a movie?
Yes.
Survive.
It's
Pretty good.
probably in comedies, I'd probably rate it top
It's up
5
there.
comedies of
Yeah,
all time.
definitely.
Cool.
But yeah,
So
that's all I wanted to talk about. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. So let's move on to next. Let's talk about. So what's up first? The Lord. No, not the Lord of the Rings. The Game of Thrones series, I believe, is coming first, and that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be on August 21st
House
in
of Dragons? Is that what it is?
House,
House of Dragon?
House of Dragon, and it's going to be set. I don't know if it's well over. It's 300 years, so it's 300 years before the original show. So I think it's safe to say that there's not going to be any characters that we recognize, right? No one's alive, right? Or it's been a while. There's
No,
nobody
you're
that's
you're
lived that
correct.
long, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they have normal lifespans.
yeah.
I mean, they're essentially humans, right? Unless they have some kind of magic infusion or whatever you want to call it.
I never read the books, but I've like read at the end of every season they do
During
like
the
this.
reign of Viserys, that's like the Mad King, right?
Yeah, is he
Yeah,
around on this show or was this before him?
this is like
Yeah,
hundreds
that's
of
what I
years. This is
thought.
Yeah,
like
this is way before him. Yeah, you're right because
when they first flew
he was the
from Valyria.
king before whatever the guy Robert Baratheon. He
I
was
think
the
there
king
was
before him.
there was a
He was the
period.
king that Jamie Lannister killed. So
Right. Right. And I think there is this period of time I think was the show's covering. I'm trying to remember right. I think there's a period of time where like the Targaryens basically invade Westeros and take over Westeros. And maybe that's what this is about.
yeah, they basically took over with them and their dragons and just
Right.
just went gangbusters over the entire continent of Westeros and held the throne for hundreds of years. So maybe this is the initial invasion,
With
Yeah.
Aegon.
and then it's gonna go from there.
Aegon and his sisters or something.
So that should
'Cause
be interesting. It's gonna have a big budget. There'll be dragons in it. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, I'd like to see some Jon Snow, but that's not going to happen.
And they have Ramin Djawadi,
he's the best for the music.
best ever, yeah, for sure. As the composer, so he's gonna kill it as he always does.
The music will be good then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's all I want to mention. The Lord of the Rings thing. So
Wait.
wait.
We have to go on a tangent here.
Okay.
Just a little tangent. I just want to say that you guys remember that show Bates Motel?
Yeah,
Yes.
The girl that had the woman that had she had like the breather. She was sick. The actress is Olivia Cook. I just want to say shout out to her. She's in it. I think she looks nice in everything she does, and everything she does is good. Also, apparently George R. R. Martin hasn't even seen the pilot to like the Long Night trailer prequel that they were supposed to do. He hasn't even seen it, and I'm pretty sure HBO canceled that.
which one was that? Was that gonna be a Night's Watch spinoff?
I think so. They made a pilot and they did one episode, and apparently it just wasn't well received, and George R. R. Martin hasn't even seen it.
You got to figure they can just print money with this Song of Ice and Fire series. So yeah, I'm actually Yeah, I'm kind of shocked to hear that they would cancel something like that after they, put so much time and effort and money into, the original series. Like any kind of spin-off that they would, axe it off the gate. So
Well, it must not be good.
probably sucks. Yeah.
So I would guess. Yeah.
Usually
But
HBO, they're willing to work with you and put
100%.
money into the production, but if it sucks, it sucks.
That's it. Yes, sir.
Well,
So
the
yeah,
problem too. Sorry, Mike. The problem too is like with the end of with the like with the end of the show and how toxic everybody was, like how it ended, and like it's just I think that there's been like things being said too about just the cast worrying about living up to
Yeah.
the original show because like
Yeah,
say
that's a
what you
good
will
point.
about
Yeah, their next thing that they release Game of Thrones related has to knock it out of the park, right?
yeah,
Because of how the ending of you know the Game of Thrones series went, and how it like the critics really bashed on it, and even myself, the ending was horrible. Like to be completely frank, it was not good. So whatever they do next has to knock it out of the park for me to get engaged in it.
yeah. Well, if I had to guess, then probably don't waste your time because how are you going to be as attached to characters in this show as you were to Tyrion Lannister, to Jon Snow, to
Varys.
Arya Stark,
For
Varys?
me,
There's no way. There's no way this show is going to have that same nostalgia.
yeah.
I'd bet the farm on that.
And for
Yeah.
me, dude, Jamie Lannister had the best story arc of the
Jamie was
entire series, in my
Jamie was
opinion.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah, I loved his
It was good. Like
the Hound.
I
Ugh.
the
Oh, the
Hound and
Hound was
Arya are
good.
the
Yep.
best. They're the best. I don't care.
And as
Put
much as
those two
people
together.
hated him, Joffrey was great.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was he was a great young kid actor that you love to hate him basically. I don't know. I thought he played his role perfectly, and I would have liked to seen him obviously live a little bit longer, but that's the story, man. That's how it goes.
He lived a while, didn't he? Didn't he last like 3 seasons, 4 seasons?
Yeah, and then he was yeah. It was yeah, I think it was three and a half, 4 seasons, something like that, before he got poisoned by his uncle.
yeah, he lasted a while because he wasn't king. Remember, at first he was like just this little
Shit.
annoying little shit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and then he just became a more powerful, annoying little shit.
Just
And
putting
then he was
everyone's heads on stakes and stuff and showing them in King's
yeah,
Landing.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, jury's not out yet. We'll just see what happens.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm gonna watch it
Yeah, I'm
regardless,
gonna
and
watch
then
it too.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think I will too.
we'll see what happens. Like Mike said,
Right. Okay, so let's talk about Lord of the Rings. So, what do you guys know about the new Lord of the Rings show? Do you know when it's set? Do you know what the stuff is?
I don't know a lot. I saw the trailer and thought it looked awesome, but that's about it for me.
Yeah, I believe I believe that it's set back at the time. You remember when like the Lord of the Rings like movie opened? It's been a long time, obviously, right? But there's like, there's the nine rings or whatever, I think, right? And then there's like the people who carry those rings, and then
The Ring Bearers.
the ring bearers. And I think that this it's going to be set back at the time where all that shit was forged. And like so
Oh,
those
Oh, cool.
characters will actually be characters. So yeah, no, for me it's like, oh, okay. I'm probably actually more excited for the Lord of the Rings show just because I see more like potential with it. But
there's
I
been there's definitely potential, but on the internet too. Like I remember I was talking to one of our friends that we play Dungeons and Dragons with, our DM, and
Oh,
He
yeah.
was saying that Amazon was, I don't know if it's like a woke kind of thing. I'm not very political. I don't really understand it myself, but they were that the people that saw the trailers were concerned with some aspects of the show. But
Interesting.
if they do, if they do it around the time where the rings were forged and they're not trying to, you know, remake the movies, because all the movies and even the Hobbit movies are, I think they're great. Like as long
Yeah,
as they don't touch that material and they try to do
Yeah.
something new, I think it'll be refreshing.
yeah.
Also, yeah,
That's something you just got to leave alone. The trilogy,
Agreed.
yeah,
and
you
especially
can't
the
touch.
extended version. You can't. No. And I'm looking through the list here, and I'm not seeing Peter Jackson as an executive producer
He's
or
not.
producer or anything like that. So that gets me a little concerned because he nailed it on the trilogy for sure.
Yeah. Another thing, I think we talked about the lady who plays Galadriel. She's in a movie called Saint Maud. It's like a thriller horror movie, and she's going to be playing Galadriel. And she also is. She happens to be Welsh, and I don't know if you know this, but Tolkien pretty much based Elvish off of like Welsh, the Welsh language that that Celtic sort of language. So that'll be really cool to see a Welsh actor pretty much speak Welsh, but it's Elvish with
Yeah,
that dialect or accent.
yeah, Gaelic, right? Is that what you said?
I think it could be Gaelish or Gaelic. It's a Celt language. It's Welsh, so I'm not sure if it's a form of Gaelish or what, but it's definitely like an old language. They had it in Scotland had its own Gaelic, Gaelish, whichever
Yeah,
of the two you want to call it.
I remember like when I went to Scotland and like north in the Highlands, there were still signs that were in Gaelic because it's still, I don't know, it's probably not the main language. Obviously, English is going to be there, the main thing they speak, but I guess there was still a population of Gaelic speakers, so they had to translate the signs you know into the Gaelic as well.
Good for them too, because I remember when we were in Vegas for a couple years ago, Gator, and we met like these British guys, and they were like, "Yeah, we should just get rid of that language in the schools. It's a dead language." And it's like, what? That language is. It's like, why would you want to do that? But yeah, that just a kind of tangent there. It's a great
Yeah,
language, I think.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we should hang on to these kind of things for sure because the world is getting smaller. I guess, right? As far as languages are like, they're dying out. Languages are dying out. Is guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like you want to preserve that kind of thing, you know.
I,
It's
for,
like
I
if we,
forget I forget where it was, or it might have been like Southeast Asia, but there was like two two known speakers of like this super rare dialect of whatever language, and then they were like they didn't like each other, so they stopped talking to each other. But they're like the last two known people that speak this language. I forget. I gotta search it. But yeah, I mean they're dying out. They're like being consolidated, and English is taking over really over the entire world.
yeah, I know this is a show about movies, video,
Yeah, sorry.
and TV, but I want to do a shout out to all the ancient languages that have been forgotten. You know, like your Sumerian, your Aramaic, your Akkadian languages, all the languages from Babylon. Those are pretty cool, but even Egyptian too. Like if you went to Egypt nowadays, like the form of Arabic that they speak versus the the Saudi Arab states, like the Emirate states, it's like a different dialect. It sounds almost like they end certain words with like an ancient Egyptian sort of like, they just kind of change it. It's like English being spoken in the United States versus like South America or South Africa or like New Zealand or something. It's just like it's got a little different twang to it, and it sounds really cool. So just a shout out to keeping those ancient languages alive.
Keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Um, What do you say next week we do our podcast in Latin? What do you say, guys?
Sure.
In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. That's all I know.
It's pretty good.
Is that from Boondock
That's
Saints?
from that's from Catholics, Catholic people. They used to say, like, and I'm pretty sure it was in an episode of Friends too, but I could be wrong. Latin's pretty cool. Like, if we're gonna go on a little tangent about Latin, you know that the Vatican still posts like their news thing for all like the cardinals and priests in Latin, and they like have to read it.
No,
But
I did not.
now we're going
What's
on a
it?
super tangent, Mike.
Now the tangent created another tangent.
Yeah,
What have I done?
it's become an amalgamation of something.
What is this? A history podcast or a goddamn game show?
Yeah, I
podcast?
turned in here and I tuned in and I wanted to hear about the new God of War trailer, and these guys were talking about Aramaic and Sumerian and Gaelic.
What is this, hardcore history?
I don't want to learn
Dan
anything
Carlin?
about history. I want to learn about my video games and movies.
So speaking of video games, what is there anything to talk about for video games? I mean, it's just been kind of like after all like the summer events, like I feel okay, well, so God of War got announced. Jedi Survivor, so the sequel to Fallen Order, it's like apparently it's going to come out like something like March 2023. But yeah, that's about all I've been up to date on. And anything worth talking about?
So I was watching my favorite podcaster, Bobby Lee, on some certain he's on like different podcasts. And so apparently online he's gone through like a breakup with like his podcast partner. And so he was on another podcast and he's like, yeah, relationships aren't for me. Like if I want to stay up until 5 a.m. and wake up at 2 p.m. playing video games, I'm gonna do that. And so what he basically said the next video game for him was that he was like ready to just know life was Starfield. Like he's like you, Mike. He's like there's not a lot of, when we've talked about this, there's not a lot of people online looking for Starfield. There's the interest just isn't there yet. But it's just kind of
Yeah.
refreshing to see someone that sort of that I watch have the same appreciation for something that's not even out yet.
Well, and
as
he's
you.
a Skyrim freak.
Oh yeah,
He's
Skyrim,
played
Stardew
thousands
Valley,
of hours of Skyrim.
Yep.
And
Destiny.
Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that makes sense that he's excited for Starfield, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see him, start mentioning it, and hopefully it starts picking up some steam here once it gets closer to the release date.
I think it will. Like I think I want to have I don't want to set high expectations, So like I think when it does come out, I think there will be people out there that really really like the game, and there's really no reason not to. It's just a giant space RPG, right? Should be good.
Yeah,
Should be good. Yeah.
I think it has basically limitless potential
On paper, yeah.
on paper. Yeah, exactly. But we'll see how it pans out.
We'll see how it pans out. Cool.
For video
yeah,
games
anything
though,
else?
sorry. Yeah. What video games have you been up to? What have you been playing, Mike?
I've been playing a little bit of Nice Old Republic, and then I've just been kind of dipping into like I got the PlayStation Premium,
Mm-hmm.
so like I just started playing a little bit. I got a lot of editing I got to do, so I can't play a lot right now. But I was playing a little bit of like the original Force Unleashed, which is the Star Wars game where you're like the apprentice of Darth Vader, Starkiller.
Yeah. Yeah. Legends, right? It's all Legends.
Yeah, it's all Legends. It's all Legends. It's
How
old.
about you,
It's a
Gator?
dated game, but it's fun.
Yeah. It is pretty. It's not too old. It's still got pretty good graphics.
PS3. Yeah.
Gator, what have you been playing?
Uh, for me, I've been playing a lot of Deep Rock Galactic, and I know me and you have been jamming on that lately. It's I don't know, it's a lot of fun. Every map is randomly generated, which is awesome. I don't know. It's just a good co-op game to play, and
The updates are there.
the updates are
tune
there.
comes
Yeah,
through.
it's not
Yeah.
pay to win. The only thing you pay for is cosmetic essentially, and it's not too grindy. I mean, it's easy to unlock things if you put in the time.
Yeah.
So, and then I actually just bought Battlefield 1 for my PC. I had it on PS4 years ago, and I just bought it on PC to see how it looks, with my graphics card and all that. And it's insane. It's amazing, especially with the sound. There's a sound setting called War Tapes where they take real sounds from war and they incorporate it into the game, and it's so like you hear bullets whizzing by you. It sounds like it's right outside your right outside my apartment. Explosions are insane. It's so loud, but it like really immerses you in the gameplay. So I've been playing Battlefield 1 a little bit too lately, but mostly Deep Rock Galactic.
Any PUBG?
A little bit of PUBG, yeah. And yeah, PUBG just released a new map. Jury's still kind of out on it. I've only played a handful of games on it, so I haven't seen the whole thing, but I mean, it's all right. Yeah, it's an arcadey, what do you want to call it? It's an arcadey death match, type of game, and they're incorporating some more kind of gimmicky things. So I don't know. It's kind of losing its steam as far as like realism goes, but it's still a really fun game. And then they have bots too, which takes away from the gameplay. But back in its heyday, PUBG was the shit. Like it was awesome.
The first, wasn't it? Or was DayZ?
For Battle Royale, I think it was the first like big one. Yeah,
I think so too, man.
I remember seeing, and I don't know if this was its heyday, quote unquote, but there's like over 300,000 concurrent players like at one time.
Right now they have a bunch of Chinese players though, right? Like the majority of them are Chinese players from all the videos I've seen in YouTube recommendations.
Yeah, there's a hacking problem, and then there's a lot of Chinese players, but no, you can still find, like, I go on the PUBG Discord every so often, and then you can just find groups there. It's pretty cool.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I've been playing Deep Rock, and I actually played some V Rising last night with a buddy of ours, and the way we played it this time was like the first time we played it, because all three of us here played it, we were sort of building. We didn't really know what we were doing with V Rising, but the second time around, it's kind of like Don't Starve. First time you play Don't Starve, you die to like a tree ant or something, or you die to a wolf on the seventh day. Whereas like in this game, there's like a sort of path that you go with, because each boss you kill unlocks an ability that you can use, and the armor that you wear is the character's level. So the second time playing, we got to the point where we were playing after like a couple days in just like a night, in just a matter of like 2 hours.
Serious?
Yeah, we got right to that point, the three of us, right before we all logged off.
I gotta get and we'll do this offline. But I gotta get the server, because I want to jump in on that.
I think it has a lot of potential. As long as when you die, you lose stuff, but it's so easy to get like because there's full loot where they can loot your armor, and not everyone plays that. People play where they just lose their inventory. So I mean, it's pretty forgiving, even if you lose like a couple things. And if you farm, you always go to like an encampment of NPCs, and you just smash all the boxes and farm them.
Yeah, I
So
liked it. I thought it had a lot of potential for sure. And
it's fun. I just they have the clans that are set to four players, including yourself. So I think in the
oh, that's right.
future, yeah, like because there's going to be groups of players that have more than four, and they want to play with more. So maybe I don't know, maybe we'll see what the future looks like. I know that there's been some new releases to Don't Starve too that we all really enjoy. We enjoy Don't Starve together. We were probably going to try to tackle that at some point when we find time. But yeah, it's just what I've been playing.
Yeah, and
So
I guess as far as gaming news goes, I just want to touch on one more thing. I'm excited for Concerned Ape, his new game that's coming out, Haunted Chocolatier. Of course, he's the guy that made Stardew Valley, programmed the whole thing himself, which it's a Harvest Moon ripoff, but he did it very well. And
there's so much more in Stardew than Harvest Moon, though. Like,
yeah, and the thing about Haunted Chocolatier that I've heard is that it's going to be more combat based
hmm.
versus farming and grinding, like Stardew is. But yeah, I don't know. I watched a couple YouTube videos on it, and some things were data mined, or some things were taken away from the gameplay footage that he released, and it looks like it's going to be more combat based. So and like there's gonna be boss battles, and yeah, I don't know, it just looks really cool. And he really killed it on Stardew Valley. So I'm excited to see what he does with Haunted Chocolatier, but there's no release date yet, and I'm just looking on the website now, and he's like, I'm not rushing it. So which I love.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
totally all for that.
Don't rush things. Otherwise, the product will, it'll have bugs. There'll be issues with it, like exploits. Just take your time with it. Like that's why I liked old Blizzard, old school Blizzard, because when they did Classic, they took their time with it. When they did TBC, they had a rough draft. They didn't like it, and they made their final product for the expansion, and they didn't take their time with it, and it was great. Wrath of the Lich
Hmm.
King, they didn't take their time with it. Like, or I mean, they took their time with it. Forgive me. They took their time with both the expansions, and the games turned out, they turned out good. And also, one last thing on the topic of data mining and hackers and leaked data. It's the Elden Ring DLC, the Badlands DLC. Looks pretty good.
Whoa, I haven't even heard about this. So
Yeah,
there's DLC
apparently.
coming out already.
Well, so the From Software or Bandai Co. basically had like breach, and they found like a list of all the new games slash DLC that they're going to be working on for the next like 2 years, and Bloodborne 2 was on there. Uh, the Elden Ring DLC. They have another like Gundam game that they made, Armored Core. So they're making a new Armored Core for those fans out there. So it should be pretty cool. And on top of it too, um, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but they're finally trying to put these PlayStation exclusive games finally on the PC for PC players to play. And I think if they could get Bloodborne on the PC, there would be a new resurgent of just gamers playing that game, because it's a fantastic game.
Probably. Yeah. I didn't know it still wasn't on PC.
It might be now, but they but they were saying a couple weeks back that they were going to try to port some of those PlayStation games onto the PC, and I think Nintendo's trying to do something too with one of their games. So
Sorry, that's Bloodborne you were talking about.
yeah, and a lot of the older titles that haven't been ported over yet.
I want to get my hands on a old school PlayStation. I might just buy one on eBay or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember there being a lot of awesome games for PS1.
Well, the cool thing with Sony is I mean, if you do have a PlayStation 4 or 5, like the library, the store library, you can probably find whatever you want for the most part on there.
Not really. I mean,
Really?
yeah, like there's one game I'd love to play, and I can play it on PC because I have like like an emulator, but
Mhm.
like I'd like to play on my console. Be like the Parasite Eve games. They're not, you can't get those. There's a lot of different like PlayStation 1 games that you can't get still.
Parasite Eve, man. I haven't heard
I haven't
that
heard
name
that.
in a long time.
Yeah, it's the first FPS RPG. Well, the first one that, I think was really I think internationally a success.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
talking about the Resident Evil remake that came out on GameCube. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like,
Um, the first.
yeah, they remade the first one, and they they updated like everything. Like it was like almost an entirely new game. And they're talking about trying to get. I think they're trying to put that on PC as well. They're gonna remake Resident Evil 4, which is, I got Resident Evil 4 when I had my Nintendo Switch, and that game was sick. It was awesome. So yeah,
Yeah, that's obviously an iconic game series. I've just barely started the new Netflix series, Resident Evil series, but
if you know the Resident Evil lore, and about Albert Wesker and Umbrella, it's kind of hilarious the things this corporation is able to do. It's almost like the epitome of evil, basically.
yeah,
Like they tackle cloning, they tackle um, viral spreads. They tackle mutation. Like it's when they get to the cloning, it gets crazy. I really like that part.
yeah. How far into it have you gotten?
Oh, I finished it. I just finished it because like the whole thing is basically like one of the main characters is Albert Wesker, and if you know about Albert Wesker, I'm pretty sure he died in Resident Evil 5. I think he died because that's where Chris Redfield and him basically duked it out, and the last
Yeah,
boss was Wesker.
yeah. Didn't
But
he like jack himself up to get like super strong?
yeah, and then he fell into like a, I think like a cracked earth lava river or something and died. But it's cool. The guy who plays Albert Wesker he's one of the actors from The Wire. He played like I think he was a commissioner.
Okay.
Yeah, and Albert Wesker was like a blonde haired like white dude. But this
Shit.
Albert Wesker is is the black dude from The Wire. So
Is it that guy? The shit guy?
yes.
Is it really?
It's the he's the taller guy. Fuck, I forget his name.
Oh, the commission or yeah, I'll search it. But God, dude, The Wire, what a great show. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a watch. Probably, I'm waiting on bated breath for every Westworld episode that gets released. I know we all are. So that's kind of taking my attention these days as far
Lance
as
Riddick. Remember he was on the Eric Andre show? Eric Andre asked him a stupid question, and he like freaked out, and he did like a dramatic thing, and Eric Andre thought he was being serious. He like freaked out and like broke a table or something.
oh yeah. This is the yeah, he's like the captain, right?
Yeah.
Or like he works his way up.
Yeah. To the show he's basically, he's just fed up.
Cedric Daniels. Yeah, Daniels.
Yeah, Lance Riddick is the actor's name. So it's really cool. I mean, I'm looking online, they didn't get the best reviews. Like Resident Evil is just cursed. The movies and TV are just cursed by
just people unhappy with how it's made. But I mean, I was
Did you see that that Times Square advertisement that they made for it though?
yes,
That
and
was pretty badass.
yeah, that was sick.
Mike,
Basically
did you see
had
that?
yeah, Mike.
See what?
The Times Square advertisement that they did for the new Resident Evil series.
I did not see that. No.
Oh, you got to search it. It's like a
It's a
whatever
liquor.
zombie.
It's
It's
a
a
liquor.
liquor in a room, in a glass room, and he like breaks out of it like
Oh, really?
and starts crawling on the side of the building. Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll give it a watch.
Cool.
I
So
just
you,
watch anything Resident Evil related. I don't
yeah.
know.
So I think we're good on time for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have plenty to discuss in a few weeks, so be sure to tune in for that. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you guys in a few weeks.